G'day everyone, my name is Noah and you're watching TJM Farming here on YouTube. If you're new around here, we are a West Australian wheat and sheep farm on the banks of the Moore River. In today's video, we've got multi-purpose action that shows off both sides of our farm with the merino action and also a little bit of cover cropping action, which is going to be the first half of the video, and then we're going to be switching over to do the ram shearing. We've got some promising content this time and we've cut it down to roughly about 20 to 25 minutes, so hopefully you guys enjoy and please do stick around till the end. To start this video off, we got a few comments such as, what happened to the John Deere and the Gason air seeder? Nothing. The John Deere and the Gason air seeder is still sitting right here, the same spot it's been since we parked it up 2 years ago. Go back to the knife blade for the sake of keeping the trash on the surface, not in heaps at the end of the row. The spade is for clean wet ground. That looks like bloody hell, guys. Lol. Check the last video. You'll find that we did swap back to the knife blades. Thanks. With a $5 super thanks. We've also had a couple of Kiwis in the comment section. Hello guys, welcome. It's very nice to see you from across the pond coming and jumping into my comment section. Yeah, was so confused. Was waiting for a John Deere 9500 or something similar to roll around. New Zealand, a combine is a harvester. We would call that a tine drill. Burning seed with fertilizer together, a no-no here. Not sure why. Single chute systems should be one of those pretty common things across the globe, but New Zealand, completely different conditions. But you would be correct. Combines for most of the world are what we call a combine harvester. We don't have a John Deere 9500 though. We've got something much, much bigger than that. Johnny had a Mark II, which is parked on the other side of the yard. 9760 STS with a 36-foot draper front. Righto, good afternoon and welcome to Friday. Main seeding is now all finished and out of the way. We've got the combine back here. We've swapped a couple of points over because they broke right on the last few runs. We still got seed in the box. This is the box that came out of the silo over there where you can see the auger. So what we're going to do today is we are going to do our cover crop. This is a very good opportunity to point out what one of my commenters said. It should have been the combine meets the header. When 2 videos ago I said the combine meets the combine. What I meant by that was I was supposed to confuse our international viewers by saying the combine harvester meets the combine seeder. So I don't know if Bindi Sue is gonna, yeah, here she comes. Come on. Yeah, don't be shy. Yeah, good girl. Alright, so we've been at it for about half an hour now. The combine reckons 26.4 hectares. We started on 25.2, so do the math, that's not much. It's been a game of first and second gear on the gear stick here. Mainly because of the turbulence, because we're doing it over the top of the fire brakes. But you can see why we're doing it. It's all these gaps in foliage on the ground here caused by the plough doing the fire brakes last year. Not only did the plough do a rough job at it, but it also did it at a time of year where soil coverage is critical. So the aim of this is to try and get a bit of ground cover back and also empty the seed, as I stated earlier. But it's a bit of a hard go because while these bumps, as you can quite clearly hear, are making it challenging for the combine to go on the ground, and because I'm not using auto steer, because this job is so small, I figured I'd try and do it myself. It's going to be all over the place, but that's alright. If the crop does grow, it's just going to be grazed down by the sheep anyway. At the end of the day, this is really for our pasture improvement. Right, so it looks like that side's empty. What's that sight glass? Also empty. Yeah, it's blowing air. So that means We're below the sight glass, like that. Probably another up, back, and up again. And then we'll probably have to fill it up from the truck again because the truck's still got oat seed in it. Just real quick, we'll go and show you. One of these we had to weld up. These are the welds right here. This tine completely snapped clean off the top part out the west end. Went over a rock or something. And interestingly enough, when we took the tine off, this was yesterday by the way, we took it off, went and welded it back together, and underneath the front part of the tine there's a bloody grease nipple. See, this is the reason why we need a cultivator with harrows on the back. Go and smooth all this off. Or even a Kelly chain. A Kelly chain would be a lot better than John Shearer plough for fire brakes. But certainly getting the Scarify down from Canada, because we do have one, we just need to modify it with harrows, that's all. Certainly that's one of the things we're gonna be looking at for next year. Good morning, welcome to Sunday. It's the 21st of June, and well, the cropping shenanigans are out of the way. We got the tractor with the Marshall multi-spreader. Dad went and spread all of the fertilizer out on the west end yesterday. Let's head up into the shearing shed because, well, sheep season is upon us again. Gentlemen, hello. So some of you remember how I went and spared 4 ram lambs from the rubber rings last year. These were 109, 387, 400 and 409. Just really quick, Dad, before we get into the shearing, why did you let me spare these boys from the rubber rings? Just give our viewers a bit of context first.
Oh, well, working at a merino starter, and yeah, we were castrating lambs that were looking better than what we were leaving for rams at the stud. And yeah, I thought, oh well, we'll keep a couple just to see what they look like. I used to do that all the time, and you know, we've been buying top price rams here for a while, so you know, they should be good genetics anyway.
And it all started with 109, which Dad named Noah's Choice. Have been living with the big boys over here, and we're just letting them be ram lambs for a year and let them grow up a bit before we try and put them in with use. But this is a very important thing, the wool. Because we are merino growers, we don't just grow them for the meat, we grow them mainly for the wool. If there's yellow wool, that means problems with the fleece, not so good for breeding. If my ram lambs do not perform today, they lose their balls, and then they'd, well, yeah, not quite a good situation. 2 of them, we know for a fact, we're looking okay when we brought the home mob in for crutching a couple of months ago, and 2 of them were looking yellow. So we're shearing the main rams today as well as ram lambs, and the summer lambs are just gonna vibe in the back here. Before we get started with shearing, we just got to get a couple of things out the way. Yes, merino rams are temperamental, they kick, and they've also got balls, which makes the job slightly harder for the shearer, which today is going to be Dad, but I will be standing on the board with him on standby just in case they kick, to try and keep the rams in line. 400, okay. Last year, in the comment section of my videos, I got a couple of questions asking why are we sticking with Merinos as opposed to meat breed of sheep that are wool shedders like the Australian White. Well, there's a couple of reasons for that. Mainly, the wool quality. Merino wool is still worth a lot of money, especially the fine quality bright white wool. If we can try and target that high quality bright white wool market, it's going to be worth a lot more money than, say, the wool off a prime line, for example, which doesn't have the crimp and the micron that merino wool does. In addition to that, because Dad and I are a 2-man shearing team where Dad shears the sheep and I'm oftentimes playing grass about and classing the wool for him on the skirting table, that cuts out the entire cost of a shearing team. At least for right now anyway. It's more cost effective for us to continue growing merinos for wool and have the wool be pressed into bales, loaded onto the truck and be sold than it is for wool being painted on my nice fence lines. So that was Ram Lamb 400. He was the third one we picked out. And this is what his wool's looking like. Not ideal, not great. Got the weight, it just hasn't really got the bright white colour that we need. Looking at that though, it's got a beautiful shape, just pity about the colour. Alright, let's see how much it weighs. Easy 9, so 3 kilos. Here's this one, George.
409.
409, okay.
Probably the other.
Okay. Bit yellow on the legs, but apart from that, look at the back. Is that a bit creamy, do you think? Or?
I'm hoping that's the 2 yellow ones.
I'm hoping so too. Right, so that was 409. He was the last of the ram lambs we rescued from the rubber rings. This is what his wool's looking like. Some parts are really nice and bright, like look at that. That's all right. $12, another 3 kilo, okay. And here comes
387.
So this is Rebel. So this is 387's wool. He was the second ram we spared from the rubber rings. This part's looking alright, but there is a tinge of yellow in there.
It might all be like that now.
Oh, I hope not.
It could be to do with the feed.
That, well, yeah. And if it is to do with the feed, well, a good test will be shearing the big rams that went up to canner. So 387's wool is in the press now, and it went straight up to 16. So that's 4 kilo. He's the heaviest of the cutters at the moment. Here's the ram lamb that is named after me. Dad named him after me. 109 Noah's Choice. We're assuming that he's the son of Murray. So hopefully his wool performs well because he's got Murray's genetics and he'd be carrying that line on. down the sheep. Come on. Come on, buddy. Look at that. I reckon his wool's the best of the lot.
So funny.
He's a keeper. No, they're talking to each other.
It's in lambs. Even if we don't use those other three, it's worth just this one. This is a fucking $2,000 ram any fucking day.
Wow. This is the reason why we're breeding fucking Merinos. Look at this. This is fine quality stuff right here. Well, I made a choice. That's the reason why it's called Noah's choice. And, well, he's a keeper. And that means Murray's genetics are going to carry on in our flock. So this is Barney's wool. He's number 26. He was a Chilara ram, same farm that we got our late ram Murray from. This is what his wool's looking like at the moment.
When did we shear him? September.
Yeah, we sheared him September. He was a heavy cutter. Like, look at that. Holy cow, it was on, yeah, real heavy cutter. Pity that. So this fleece came from another one of the Correct boys. This is really good stuff right here. Another one of the really good ones. Also fairly heavy too. So, the scale is saying 31. So we'll put them in. And it says 35. So that's 4 kilos right there. Pretty good. Right, so all the rams are now shorn. Total count for wool in the press is 75 kilos between the 10 main rams and the 4 ram lambs. We've got quite a few white ones, some creamish, and well, the other ones can't be helped. We're working on that. But that's a wrap for ram shearing, and that's going to be wrapped for shearing in the meantime until, well, next time we'll have sheep in the shed will probably be August, late July, early August for main shearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Depending on the weather, of course, because we've got lamb marking next on the agenda for the sheep. Hello, welcome to the end of the video. As you can see, well, the hay crop's out of the ground. Currently, we're at the 1 leaf stage. That means we got to get the micro start, which is the fertilizer that we're going to be spraying with the liquid cart. We've got to get the micro start here pretty soon and get the liquid cart modified and ready to go for that, because in a matter of weeks, in about a week or two, when Dad's on his next off swing, yeah, we'll be at the 2 leaf stage and it'll be go time for fertilizing these paddocks. This is what the front paddock's looking like. Yes, I know, it's rocky. We're gonna get on top of that. Probably need to bring the loader in here and pick some rocks. Even though we didn't put any knockdown on here, it looks like partial till weed kill is actually working for a change. This is the stuff that was planted with the wide points on the combine. You can see ruts where the weeds are still growing. We couldn't rip that up. It's simply because of the depth of the combine. But no, yeah, apart from that, it's growing. It's actually growing quite thick, which in a way is really good. I'm so glad to see this up and out of the ground.